Women having anal sex with their men. Now, I've had female friends who come to me and say, how do y'all do anal? Either they want to try it or they tried it and it wasn't as successful and they want to keep doing it because either they want to please their men or it's being requested by their man and they want to fulfill that request. Okay? So, my thing is, if you're not used to it or you haven't done it, it's not a 1-2 step. It takes a while to get used to. The ass muscle is very tight. And it's painful at first before it starts to become pleasurable. Now, I don't know why women won't ask their female friends who have done anal before, but I guess they seem to ask the gays because they're like, y'all do anal, you know. Now, my G-spot is in my ass, my prostate. Now, I don't know how a woman gets pleasure out of anal. I don't have those parts, darling. I just don't have those parts you have. So I wouldn't know how pleasurable it is for you to have anal since you don't have a prostate in there. A prostate for him to beat up. You know, now your G-spot is in your pussy. So that's where you have your orgasms. That's where you're able to come and not, you know, and things like that. Our G-spot, a man's G-spot is in his ass. You know, or anybody who was assigned sex at birth, even if you transition, your G-spot is still in your ass, even if you are a trans woman. But I tell them get some poppers. And for the first time, you might want to pour a couple of shots and get white boy wasted. Blunts, yeah, blunts definitely help. I just tell people, get some poppers because you're not going to be able to take muscle relaxers if you're on any type of alcohol, things like that. So these bottles of poppers like Rush, Jungle Juice, these poppers, and I know people are like, what is that? What is that? They're not, a lot of, I've come across many heterosexual people who are unfamiliar with poppers. Not to say all heterosexual people are, but I do come across a large few of heterosexual people who'll be like, I've seen gay people use that or I've seen that before, I don't know what it is. And I tell people, they want you to explain to them, but I tell people, if you want to try something, it's best that you do your own research on it. Poppers have been around for so long. And I've had people say, is it illegal? It's not. If you do your research on it, you will see that they sell it in the stores. So if it's illegal, if it's a drug, they wouldn't be selling it in the stores. So, and then it's been around for so long, you know? Like I said, I told a girlfriend of mine, I said, if you ever watch them videos of people on Studio 54 sniffing shit up out of a bottle, they sniffing poppers. They on the dance floor, you know, and she said, oh, it helps you get in the, I said, it helps you get in the mood. And they were popping Quaaludes, and then they were on Coke on top of the poppers. So the Quaaludes, the alcohol, and the Coke on top of the poppers had a motherfucker on the dance floor all night. Now, I'm not sweating out my wash and go, so there will be no Quaaludes, Coke, or alcohol. Maybe just poppers on the dance floor, but bitch, I'm not sweating out my motherfucking edges. Now, I got this on my hair. I had a lot of oil in my hair, so I had to drain it around from dripping. So, yeah, it helps you get in the mood. It relaxes. That's why people use it during anal sex because that first sniff, your whole body just relax. And that is what you need when you want to do anal. Because anal will have you so tense, it will hurt more because you're so tense. The ass muscle is so tight. So the more tense you are, the more it's going to hurt. You want it to ease on in, honey. You don't want the pain, you want the pleasure. Now, though it comes with pain and pleasure, but you want pleasure. And when you're sniffing poppers during anal, it'll take a while, but you'll loosen up. And as you sniff, as he enters you, and you're sniffing, honey, you're in. You're having the anal sex time of your life, darling. And, you know, I know some women who, you know, say, I'm not trying to get pregnant, but, I want to get it in. You know, I feel like there's other ways. Yeah, there's anal sex. If you want to have anal sex and instead of having vaginal sex with your man because you're trying to prevent pregnancy, but you want to get it in, right? There's so many different ways to have sex, even when you're heterosexual, and to pleasure yourself, you know. So like I said, if you want to have anal sex, there's ways to go about it. And I always say, Try slowly. Don't do a rush. Try slowly, easing it in and let it loosen up. Don't have him rush all up in you at once, because bitch, that's her. Your partner has to be patient. That's the most important thing about having anal sex, even with gay men. Partners have to be patient. The person who's topping you, who's drilling you, has to be patient. That whole impatient, I want to get up in there and get it off. No, you have to be with someone who is there with you. You know, they're there with you. They're connected. They don't want to hurt you. They want to enjoy pleasure with you. So I tell women all the time, if you want to do anal, and it's your first time, or you tried it before and you was like, "Ooh, it hurt," but I think I want to do it again. I want to try it again. Poppers. And you can Google where they sell them at in your area. Just Google poppers in your area, look up the map, and it'll show you where they're selling them at. And you don't sniff the liquid, you sniff the fumes. You don't ever want to get this liquid in your nose or on you. Don't get it on your skin, don't get it up your nose. Don't lay down and sniff it, because it will run up your nose, and that's not good. You gently sit up and you sniff the fumes. And you don't sniff hard, because you'll sniff the liquid. You sniff the fumes lightly, sniff. Because some people don't know if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you can fuck yourself up with this shit. You don't want to fuck yourself up. It's one thing you don't want to do. That's why I tell people, do your research. Don't be so afraid of things you don't know. Yeah, and ask people. But a lot of times I feel like people do more asking and want me to explain. But the research is there. I keep telling people, Google free. Google free. And then there's so many videos on YouTube about poppers. Tons of gay men are just doing tons of videos about poppers. But I've had many women ask me, how do you do anal? And I was like, oh, you want to do anal with your man? Oh, get it in, baby. Get it in. It can be a very, very enjoyable pleasure once you get the swing of it. You know, and you and your partner will be having the time of your life, you know, doing different things in the bedroom, you know, especially if he's never had anal sex with you before. And here's the thing I want to share with many of you heterosexual people. Doesn't matter if you do anal. Doesn't matter about ass play. It's still a sexual act between a man and a woman. So you don't have to worry about, oh, somebody being gay, or so I feel like he want to go on my ass, so he might be wanting to fuck a man. Honey, if he wanted to fuck a man, he'd just fuck a man. What the fuck would he ask to run up in your ass if he really wanted to fuck a man? He'd just go out and find a man to fuck. So don't be afraid to do different things in the bedroom, heteros. It's your sex life. If you want it to be bland like Wonder Bread, to be mediocre, honey, let it be mediocre and bland. But if you want to spice it up and get it in 3 weeks from fucking Sunday, regardless of what y'all do, don't matter what toys, it don't matter who's sticking what and who, it's still an act between a man and a woman. Have y'all sexual pleasure fun, whatever that is, and enjoy your sex lives, and stop being so self-conscious. Because you see, when it comes to I think it's a reason why certain women ask gay people, because they like, y'all very in tune with y'all sexuality. We are. And not to say that many heterosexual people aren't. But, you know, sometimes I come across some of y'all that just, I be like, loosen up. Sometimes I do come across you heteros and I'm like, loosen up. You don't have to be so uptight with your partner in the bedroom. Loosen up. Stop being so uptight. Stop worrying about everything so much. Everything has got to be a wary. Do you think us LGBT people do? Please. LGBT people go on cruising parks and hook up with randoms. Sniffing poppers. Do you think we take it so seriously and we're so self-conscious? We're not. We just gets it in.